According to UNESCO, the number of people pursuing higher education has more than doubled in the past 20 years, making diplomas more common and, unfortunately, less powerful. Meanwhile, more and more people are being crushed by student debt. In this video, we'll investigate how the system got so broken and give you research-backed strategies to help you succeed, no matter how bad the system is. The origins of modern education in the U.S. Let's go back to the 1800s, when the Industrial Revolution reshaped everything from factories to how we learn. The rise of the Prussian education system marked the start of something big. For the first time, education wasn't just for the elite. It became a system for the masses, designed to produce factory workers who were literate, disciplined, and ready to work. This new approach laid the foundation for the modern education system we know today. It was structured around bells, rows of desks, age-based grading, and highly regimented schedules, mirroring the organization of factories. Women, however, were still largely excluded from the core aspects of this academic structure. While girls were allowed to attend schools, the curriculum was usually focused on domestic skills such as sewing, home economics, and basic literacy, rather than the subjects considered essential for participation in the workforce or intellectual life. In the mid-19th century, Horace Mann brought the Prussian model to the United States. The system he championed mirrored Prussia's focus on discipline and standardization, aiming to produce obedient workers to meet the growing demands of industrialization. Though this educational model was established centuries ago, its core structure persists in modern schools today. The bells, age-based classrooms, and emphasis on standardized testing are all direct legacies of the Prussian model, reflecting a system still largely designed for producing obedient, productive citizens, rather than independent thinkers or innovators. The rise of credentialism. After World War II, governments and institutions expanded access to college, with initiatives like the GI Bill in the U.S. While this opened doors for many, the benefits were still far from evenly distributed. In 1950, women made up only 28% of college students. As economy shifted from industrial to knowledge-based in the 20th century, a college degree became the new baseline for social mobility and professional respectability. The message was clear: more education equals more opportunity. Over time, this gave rise to credential inflation. Jobs that once required only a high school diploma began demanding a bachelor's, and roles that used to accept bachelors started requiring a master's degree or higher. Instead of reflecting true skill or potential, degrees became a convenient filtering tool for employers. During the Cold War, the obsession with STEM education started, driven by the race to outpace the Soviet Union in science and technology. The government invested heavily in developing a generation of engineers, scientists, and mathematicians, pushing the narrative that these fields were the only path to social success. In 1972, Title IX banned gender discrimination in education, opening the doors for millions of women to pursue higher learning. But as access expanded, so did the cost of college, leading to a modern student debt crisis. Today, millions are trapped in loans for credentials that no longer guarantee financial stability. Student loans. From opportunity to trap. Student loans in the U.S. began with good intentions. In 1958, the National Defense Education Act introduced federal loans to encourage science and math education during the Cold War. The U.S. priorities for education were clear: it was driven by national security concerns, and not so much by the real economic opportunity. Then in 1965, the Higher Education Act dramatically expanded federal support for student loans, making college accessible for millions, especially from lower-income backgrounds. In 1972, the U.S. government created Sallie Mae, the Student Loan Marketing Association, to support federal student loan programs. But over time, Sallie Mae evolved into a major player in the private loan market, especially after its privatization, which began in the late 1990s and was completed by 2004. Around the same time, a major shift occurred. States began slashing public funding for higher education, pushing more of the cost onto students. Colleges raised tuition. Private lenders stepped in. By the 2000s, student loans had morphed into a massive for-profit industry. Today, student debt in the U.S. has soared past $1.7 trillion. millions of borrowers spend decades repaying loans for degrees that no longer guarantee stable jobs or livable wages. Is a degree worth it? While the standard federal student loan repayment plan is 10 years, most borrowers, in reality, take closer to 20 years to repay their loans. What began as a pathway to upward mobility has turned into a lifelong financial burden, a reality millions face today. The system worked well for the boomer generation, but not so much for millennials who mostly followed the same path. Now, Gen Z and Gen Alpha are waking up to the fact that the system is clearly broken. The world has changed, but education hasn't. At least not meaningfully, since the 19th century. In a world shaped by AI, freelancing, entrepreneurship, and the growing importance of soft skills and creative approaches, we're still relying on a system designed for factories, warfare, and control. The problem: outdated career models. The old promise, study hard, get a degree, climb the ladder, was built for a world that doesn't exist anymore. In today's fast-moving economy, the traditional career ladder is broken, and job security is more illusion than reality. A Deloitte study explains that career growth doesn't follow a straight path like it used to. Companies are changing faster, hierarchies are flatter, and the clear steps up the ladder are fading. Big corporations have downsized and outsourced many roles, closing off the old routes to advancement. And the data backs it up. A McKinsey study reveals that 40% of workers globally say they are likely to leave their jobs in the near future. The top reason employees cited for leaving their previous job was a lack of career development and advancement opportunities, reported by 41% of those surveyed. But the good news is, there's a way around it. The solution: alternative career paths. Professor Michael Waldman from Cornell University has done some fascinating research on career growth. In his study, he found that people who make lateral moves, basically switching roles at the same level, are more likely to get promoted and earn higher wages down the line. Why? Because higher-level jobs often require a broad set of skills, not just deep expertise in one area. So when you change roles horizontally, you're actually preparing yourself for more responsibility in the future. Meanwhile, highly educated workers tend to make fewer of these lateral moves, which, ironically, might be slowing their career growth. Let's say you're working as a junior marketing assistant. And you're realizing there's no real path upward. The company isn't hiring for more senior positions anytime soon. So instead of waiting, you make a side move. You apply for another entry-level role in the same company. Like project coordinator. It's still the same level, but now you're learning new skills, working with different teams, and getting a bigger picture of how things work. Here's the trick. Studies show that people who make smart lateral moves like this are more likely to land higher roles later on. Like becoming a project manager. Why? Because you're no longer just a marketing assistant. You're someone who knows how to manage people, projects, and deadlines. That's what makes the HR say yes. The benefit of lateral moves, therefore, lies in the idea that upper-level jobs use a wide, but not necessarily deep set of skills. Making a lateral move can prepare an employee to be more effective in a higher role later on. So in simpler words, even if you're not great at either marketing or coordinating, you still have a better chance of getting promoted compared to if you were just a marketing assistant. The bottom line, getting promoted isn't something you can always control. What you can control is how much you learn and how flexible you are. These days, success is less about having a degree and more about building smart strategies and having versatile and impressive work experience. The power of soft skills. According to the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs Report 2025, employers anticipate that 39% of workers' core skills will change by 2030, highlighting a significant shift towards the soft skills. Despite their growing importance, these skills are often overlooked in traditional education systems, which tend to focus more on technical knowledge. As automation and AI continue to evolve, tasks based solely on hard skills are increasingly susceptible to being replaced, making soft skills a key differentiator in the workforce. To address this gap, there's a growing movement to shift away from focusing solely on hard skills, like those in STEM, which stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, to STEAM, which adds the arts to develop essential soft skills like creativity and critical thinking. This more holistic approach aims to balance technical expertise with the human abilities machines can't replicate. Let's say you're a brilliant astrophysicist. You've spent years mastering complex theories and building your hard science skills. But deep down you feel that it's not enough. What if you added a creative twist, blending your technical knowledge with storytelling, communication, and media? That's exactly what Neil deGrasse Tyson did. He took his background in astrophysics and layered it with soft skills like public speaking and science communication. The result? He became the world's most recognized science communicator, a true superstar who made science accessible and inspiring to millions. And this isn't just about astrophysics. The same applies if you're in medicine, engineering, law, or accounting. Injecting creativity into your career, whether through writing, video, design, or teaching, can dramatically expand your opportunities and impact. A great example is Dr. Julie Smith, a clinical psychologist who built a global audience through short, engaging videos that combine expertise with emotional intelligence. Blending hard skills with creativity doesn't just future-proof your career, it can unlock new levels of influence, fulfillment, and opportunity that pure technical expertise alone often can't reach. Fear of being cringe. Here's the irony. The more time we spend in formal education, the more we start to fear sounding wrong or asking the dumb question. We become afraid of putting ourselves out there, thinking we need to be perfect before speaking up. We start hiding behind our credentials, hoping they'll speak for us. But here's the harsh truth. In the real world, credentials don't do the talking. If you don't learn how to communicate your work and your value, someone with less talent but more confidence will take the opportunity that should have been yours. This brings us to the Dunning-Kruger effect, a cognitive bias where people with lower abilities often overestimate their competence. They don't know what they don't know, which makes them more likely to think they're smarter than they really are. But the real kicker is, this effect isn't limited to the underskilled, it affects everyone. No matter how experienced or knowledgeable we are, there are always areas where we're unaware of our own ignorance. So, in a world where self-promotion feels cringe, the reality is, if you don't put yourself out there, your talents might stay hidden, while others who are better at showcasing their work get ahead. Networking and social capital. Let's be honest, success is rarely a solo act. We love to believe it's about hard work or intelligence. But in reality, access often beats ability. The right room, the right introduction, the right person vouching for you. That can change everything. Most opportunities don't come from job boards, they come from networks. People hire who they know, they fund who they trust, they collaborate with people they're connected to. And yet, formal education barely touches this. No one teaches you how to build real social capital. Meanwhile, those born into privilege are raised to navigate elite networks as second nature. The truth? Sure, degrees open some doors, but relationships open most. So go live a life worth talking about. Say yes to that volunteering gig, join a local board game night, or take up surfing. The more you put yourself out there, the more you'll connect with people. And it's those human connections that often shape your biggest opportunities. You can't build meaningful relationships if you're stuck in the same routine or are glued to a screen. Financial literacy. It's not enough to just earn money, you also have to know how to manage it. Here's a glaring issue. Despite how essential it is to our success, financial literacy is treated as an afterthought. In fact, even at elite schools, students aren't typically taught how to budget, invest, or understand compound interest. This lack of financial education leaves many highly intelligent people struggling to manage their money, often despite their high earning potential. The result? People who are excellent at what they do can still end up broke because they don't know how to handle their finances. According to the National Financial Educators Council, the average American lost $1,819 in 2022 due to poor financial literacy. Knowing how to make money is one thing. But if you don't understand how to manage it, grow it, or even protect it, you could be working harder for less. That's exactly why you need to check out our video, What is a Trust Fund and How Does It Work? It breaks down the long-term financial strategies most people have never even heard of.